you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you. How are you?
Well, thanks. How are you?
Good. Sorry about the time mix up, and thank you so much for coming
Yeah.
on the show. I don't usually talk to people from South Africa. Actually, you're the first person I've spoken to because most are in America, so it's a bit easier with Central Time Zone, and I got a bit confused. But how was your day?
Yeah, it was good. It was a good day.
Awesome.
Trying to think what happened. I feel like my days are all blending into one. I think it's been a weird year for the industry as well. So I just feel like everything's, but it's good. I finished a job and yeah, getting ready to finish up for the year. So it's crazy that it's December.
It's weird. It's very freaking weird. Um, but yeah, time definitely has flown quite quickly. Now, for the people listening who might not know who you are, do you mind just explaining who you are and what you do?
My name's Anja Rechholtz, and I do prosthetics. I work in the film industry and do special effects makeup for film.
Fantastic, and you do
And
some incredible work as well. And you worked on what type of shows have you worked on?
um, I guess One Piece. Done a TV series called Warrior. Done 3 seasons of that. Black Sails. Worked on Mad Max. Worked on I have to think Maze Runner, Tomb Raider. Done a little bit of everything. Yeah, I have to go. I don't know. I have to think through my list of movies.
Oh,
Yeah,
that
but most
makes sense.
probably movie-wise, Mad Max has been the biggest, and then at the moment, One Piece being the biggest TV series at the moment. So
That's
yeah,
that's incredible. That is so special, and you've done some incredible work from what I've seen on your Instagram. It's amazing. It really is. How did it all begin for you? How did you get into the industry?
um, well, I grew up in Namibia. We in that stage as well. We didn't really have much introduction into this industry at all. I mean, you didn't even have like YouTube or Facebook or anything like that. And I struggled a lot in school, and the only thing I knew I wanted to do was something in art. And somebody had suggested or somebody had done a presentation at my school. So it was the one thing I was like, okay, it's practical, it's creative. And yeah, then I moved to South Africa in 2006 and studied for 3 years. And my first job in the industry was when I was 18 while I was studying on a movie called 10,000 BC. And then I think it was Scorpion King 2 and some German film. And those were the first jobs I did through my college years. And it was everything from prosthetics to props to set fabrication. And then, yeah, then I left the industry for about 3 years. I figured I also really need to decide if I choose this industry. I need to choose it. And yeah, and then after 3 years, I moved back. Well, I had to first get permanent residency and all, move back, and I knew that they were going to shoot Mad Max in Namibia, but I wanted to go through a South African company. So I moved back to South Africa, got reconnected here, and yeah, I started on Mad Max again when I was 23, 24. And then, yeah, ever since then, I knew I wanted to do prosthetics specifically just because I knew it was so specialized. And especially in South Africa, there's not a lot of people that do it. And especially then, it was still very new and fresh. And there was a very small handful of people that actually did it. And I knew if I wanted to do anything, I wanted something that was a bit more specialized. Yeah. And then since then, it's just been job to job. 90% of what I've learned is on every job. So, like, I've just grown in the industry, and the industry in South Africa has grown massively. Yeah, so it's kind of just how I got where I am now. So
That's
yeah,
awesome. That's really cool. And the job itself, it would have its challenges for sure. How does the job work for you? What's the time frame like? What are the hours like? How does it work for you?
Um, it's been crazy. It's been did many years of working crazy jobs, doing long hours, doing like working all through the night in the workshop, going to set, coming back to workshop, just so because there's so few of us that do it, it's just like the load of work that was on us it was just crazy. We were always often doing long hours. I feel like most of my 20s I was doing crazy
Mhm.
between workshop and on set and the manufacturing side. And I think since Black Sales, which was at 2014, was the first time we started doing more in-house prosthetic jobs. So we specifically a prosthetic team for a TV series or show. And that's changed a lot of how I've worked over the years, where you kind of stick more to shooting schedules and like office hours, film
Mhm.
office hours. But like any most film jobs, is your basic hours are between like 10 to 12 hours, and then obviously doing applications and prosthetics and stuff. You can start anytime from 2 in the morning and finish at whatever time. So sometimes it can be a 20-hour day. We've sometimes started applications at 12 at night because it was an 8-hour application and had to have the actors ready by 7. So yeah, it's done all the hours.
Wow.
Every job's also different. You don't know what it's going to be like and how your team is. And it also depends on the strength of your team. It
Mm.
really makes a difference too. So, yeah. And
That,
obviously, your production producers, directors, how decisive they are with decisions.
true, true. That makes sense. That makes sense. And is it quite? Do you have the option to be quite creative with it, or is it quite? We need this specifically. Or can you add your own creative flair to the role?
I think it depends on the job and who you're working for. Like, I guess something like One Piece, I mean, our designer, prosthetics designer, Yaku, they obviously had to go more specific.
Mm.
You go according to what they've designed already. Where we've done jobs before where, like on Warrior, I mean, Warrior is mainly like it's more special effects like gags and blood, and they gave me a lot more freedom to be safe. So, like, if you have any ideas, throw it out there. We'll write it into the script. So, and then we had done a TV series called The Watch, which was based off Terry Pratchett.
Mhm.
And because it wasn't such a big budget, I think what we ended up giving them, they were so surprised. And with that, I was working with Ashley Powell, and he got to just get even more creative with creating things, and that pushed us to be able to do more. So it really depends on the job and who you're working under. And I think also if you're doing maybe more local jobs, smaller productions, it's also easier to put in your own creativity and push that. But yeah,
Mm.
it's definitely depends on the job. And obviously, if you're working under other people, it depends on what freedom they give you to. Like most of the time, if you're working under the people, you're also following their direction.
Mhm.
But yeah,
Mhm.
so we've had some jobs where you have to be very specific to what's given to you, and then other jobs, it's yeah, they allow you to play, which is also
Cool.
fun.
Yeah, that would be, yeah, open up your creative. But it's cool that every day is different, and every job's different, and it definitely would be challenging in that way as well. But also keeps you guessing, I'm sure. Um, Now, are you quite a movie buff? Do you like? You're into your different movies?
Um, so weirdly enough, I never really grew up with the TV,
Ah.
or was like TV wasn't really a big thing growing up in my life. And um, actually, when I started working in this industry, I was working such crazy hours that I never really I don't know. I never really had not that I didn't enjoy movies. I love movies. It was just never as much of a passion as other people. And I think now the more that I've been in it, there's certain things that I really love about aspects about movies.
Hmm.
But I've never been a crazy film person. But I do love the creativity and the work that goes behind a lot of things. And the weird thing is, like, since COVID, I've actually watched a lot more. I guess I finally had time to start
Hmm.
watching things that I had never really had the time. Because, yeah, through my whole 20s, I was working a lot. And so, yeah, so I think I've only really started getting into watching, really getting into movies now in the last like 3 or 4 years.
Mm.
But yeah, um, I was never a huge. I loved the art behind it. I never grew up with that thing with the film. Even the ideas of film being so as big as they are.
Mm. Mm. That's a good
Yeah.
childhood without a TV. It definitely does. That does make things a bit. You run around a bit more outside. Um, okay, all right. So not a massive movie buff, but do you have a top three movie list?
um, I love Dune. I love the Dune. I'm actually very excited for the next Dune films to come out.
Mm-hmm.
Always loved the Lord of the Rings series. That's always been something that I've really enjoyed. I enjoy Interstellar, obviously the Potter film,
Mm-hmm.
um, Pan's Labyrinth.
Good choices.
I have to think now of everything. I was quite. It's always funny when somebody actually asks you. I have to really
Yeah.
think about my choices.
Are you? Yeah, because Lord of the Rings would have would that be quite a bit of prosthetics? Obviously, with Lord of the Rings.
Yeah, they had a lot of, especially with all the orcs.
Mm.
Um, I guess the elf ears.
Hmm.
They had quite a lot in there. Just all the characters.
Are you planning on? Yeah, that'd be a cool thing to work on for sure. Obviously, it was filmed just down the road, really, from where I am. I'm in the South Island of New Zealand, so it was where a lot of Lord of the Rings was filmed. And I basically live in a hobbit house. It's a tiny house here, so I kind of am a hobbit myself.
Blending in.
Yeah, blending in quite well. um, but do you have what are your? I mean, you've done an incredible amount so far, obviously. But do you have any goals in the industry? Anything you want to work on specifically, or anywhere you want to travel to work with certain people?
I would definitely, yeah, I've actually started my own little workshop now, my own little business, just because, um, also just, my family lives in Namibia and just life in general has kind of run away. And my plan is to be able to do smaller jobs and do more daily work on
Mm.
bigger jobs.
Hmm.
Um, then take on full movies and films, and hoping that I can find a way of doing what I love in a smaller capacity, that I can still manage my time and try and have more time with family. But I would love to work with, there's people in the UK I'd love to work with people in Australia, New Zealand, and also a lot of people that I've met when I just started out. So it's just, I wish I would have those opportunities again. But yeah, there's some incredible artists there that I'm hoping I would love to. I mean, it would be an amazing experience to travel and go work in a different space and just also work with different people, see how they do things. And it's also just nice to not compare yourself, but just kind of see where you are,
Mm.
where your standards are compared to other people, and just learn from others. And I love, like, everyone that I've learned from and grown up with in this industry in South Africa is just incredible. I mean, I'm only where I am now because of all of them.
Mm.
Um, but I've also, it would be nice to also just get the experience to work with others, and yeah, just to see what else there is out there, and yeah, different types of personalities and
Hmm.
skill levels and just seeing how they do things.
That's
And
cool.
some things I guess are similar, but it's just it would be nice just to know, yeah, what I can compare myself to.
Yeah, that's a good point. That's a good point. Is there a particular country that's leading the world with your industry?
Um, I don't. For me, I always thought the UK had the most incredible prosthetics, prosthetic artists. But also now with Instagram, I think I'm seeing a lot more people. I see these incredible people in the States.
Hmm.
I see incredible people in New Zealand and Australia. Um, and obviously with Weta and all of that, that's just so you have an incredible group of people that work there. So it's highly skilled
Mm.
people. So I don't know who's leading in it, but um, I'd always I'd always followed the UK guys for the longest time, and now I think that I've been really searching for a lot of people and searching to see who else is out there. Yeah, I just found so many people everywhere actually. Uh,
That, that's really special. That's really special. Nice that there's a community worldwide, uh, and a lot of inspiration. That's really cool. That's really cool. Now, working on One Piece, did you see the sets, meet some of the crew, and stuff like that, or were you too busy with the actual role itself?
no, I got to meet a few of the people. I mean, I was most of the time I was manufacturing because I was doing a lot of the fishmen.
Hmm.
So I was doing a lot of casting and getting things ready for that. So I would often go apply, go back to workshop. But yeah, I mean, I obviously had days where I went to go see the sets and just watch them shoot and just spend some time on set before I would go back to the workshop. But it was beautiful. The stuff that they've created is obviously incredible.
Mm.
Um, yeah, it was just it's especially Buggy's tent scene and
Hmm.
all of that. It just feels so when you stand in there, it will just feel so real. Um, and the fish alongs uh, what is it called? City.
Yes. Yep. Yep.
Yeah,
That's amazingly done. That's all the
yeah,
fishermen look incredible. So perfect, and it just shows. The One Piece fandom is crazy in a good way.
yeah.
So it's good to know, and that you got so much positive feedback from all that stuff. So it's good to know you stuck true to what they expected, which is.
Yeah, they were very strict about it too. Like, I mean, the writer himself, as far as I know, he was very involved. Like, nothing, I don't think they didn't have any go ahead until he gave his approval. So he was very involved in it all. Um, yeah, it was quite strict in what was presented.
Mm,
So then they were very strict about staying true to what he created, which I think is amazing. I also, in the beginning, I was like, oh, because all these anime live action, it's
mm-hmm,
such a, yeah, most of them, I don't know if I've actually seen one, most live action that actually ends up being good, you know.
mm-mm,
And it's always such a hit and miss with these things. And I really thought, I was like, if this goes wrong, it's really going to go wrong. But a lot of people had an amazing feedback. I mean, even from massive fans,
mm-hmm.
um, which I was actually surprised. But obviously, everyone will have their opinions and their say. But I don't know much about One Piece, but I loved the show. I actually, when I watched it, I enjoyed it a lot more than what I thought I would.
Mm,
What did you
good.
think? Did you watch it?
Yeah, I watched it. It's incredible. It's really really well done. I watched it with my girls initially. I've got two young girls, 7 and 4. But then I decided not to continue watching with them because some bits were a bit gorier than others. But but it was really really good. It was incredible, and it was great to see it come to life. It was so much effort put in. The casting was great. The prosthetics were incredible. it was really, really amazing, and it definitely lived up to my expectation. I thought I was like, oh, it's probably going to be a flop, but it wasn't at all. It was the opposite. So yeah, yeah,
And the
incredible
nice thing
work.
is, I think doing another season is that you can always better things, and
Hmm.
that's always I think that's the nice thing about doing a series is that you can just better what the last, better the next thing. And
Hmm.
I think it has definitely has potential to just get bigger and better. Um,
Heck yeah,
and it's
yeah.
fun, like it's a really fun thing to work on because it's different to other things that are going on at the moment. So
Hmm. Hmm. Yeah, very very different and very very special. And it's great that it was filmed in South Africa, correct?
yeah,
Yeah.
but then yeah, in Cape Town.
Yeah, that's very very special as well. Definitely a sense of home there. And Buggy's nose, that's a prosthetic. That would have been a tough prosthetic to do.
It was a yeah, it was I think Matt and Yaku designed and made the mold out of it. It was also all 3D printed and then
Mm.
obviously casted. And yeah, just Natasha and Amanda, the makeup designer, and then Natasha that also worked on the prosthetic side. They applied it together, did the makeup and the prosthetic. And um, yeah, I always think it's a bit, I, I don't know, to me it looked great. And I don't know if they had any problems on set, but it's always a thing having something on nose all day like that, especially
Mm.
so bulging. But I think they did a great job every time. It looked incredible.
Yeah, they
Yeah.
they they really really did. It was
And he's
amazing.
such a good, he plays it so well. He
Yeah.
just makes that character come to life. It's amazing. You actually
He
almost forget that he's got all of this stuff on him because
you
it's just
definitely
it's
do.
so part of him.
Yeah, and he's a thirst trap for a lot of people as well, which is interesting. You don't expect a clown, an evil clown, to be someone that people make their wallpaper on their phone. But it's yeah, it was really really
And
well
I've seen the
done.
artwork people have done of him is amazing. I mean, it's beautiful.
It's incredible. It's incredible. Are you an artist as well?
I do paint,
Mm-hmm.
um, but I also have not been doing it very much. I did some during lockdown again,
Mm.
but it's also, you do every other year, you do a painting and then get inspired and then get busy with work and then it's the next thing. So that was also this plan with having a workshop is also making space for other creative. Yeah, I think it's just refining my skills more, I think, at this point.
Mm. And did load shedding affect the filming, or does it affect your role at all? Like my granny is in Parl, and
Shame.
she said she struggles quite a bit with load shedding. Does it affect you in your life much?
Uh, in my work, well, if we're on a production, they usually have generators,
Yeah.
so um, that helps. But yeah, obviously evenings when you come home after, especially if you're on set and stuff, and then it's like your load shedding is from 8 to 10 or
Hmm.
at some point they were having six. So at some point we were having almost 12 hour a day. So like 2 hours and then 4 hours and then another two and a half or whatever. So at some point we're level 6 and we're having almost 12 hours of load shedding altogether a day.
That's crazy.
So yeah.
And for the people listening, load shedding is it's when what there's not enough power to go around, so they share the power around, but certain people don't get power for certain periods of time. Um, yeah, definitely a challenge, and hopefully that resolves itself sometime soon. I'm on solar power where I am, so I understand the issues with no power and power when it goes out. Um, okay, incredible, really cool. And now for for the people listening who want to get into your industry but don't know where to start, because there are a few people in America that are listeners, New Zealand, that have a real keen interest in the industry. Uh, how do they get into the industry? You know, what do they do? Who do they talk to? And yeah, how can they become like you?
Oh, I don't. Oh, I would say nowadays it's a bit not easy, but I think you can also connect. There are internship programs. I don't know everywhere, but I know in South Africa, I think Film Africa has internship programs that you can sign up for. But I also, when I started out, and I know it's not always easy with financially, but if you can, even if you're willing to go in for free and just be willing to, yeah, you have to start at the bottom and just be willing to, even if it's making coffee for people or just holding a brush or cleaning bags, whatever it is. Because even the most mundane things that you think is stupid is actually the things, your foundation of, you know, your your departments and
Mm,
certain things that you think people are so specific about and particular about are actually the things that set your foundation for what you do
mm-hmm,
and how to be organized and um, know how to talk to people and manage time and um, be aware of different departments. And I think if you, especially if you're not really sure what you want to do, it's good to go into different departments, see how different departments work. But yeah, I don't know unless you have a connection into something specific, or you can ask somebody to get you in. But I would say the best way is to just offer your services and just be willing to
mm-hmm,
do whatever people ask you to do
mm-hmm,
and just be willing to learn. I think that's the biggest thing is that often, especially nowadays, a lot of students come in, they're just expecting, to be handed everything and not willing to do any of the dirty work. And I always feel like everyone can clean up after themselves, everyone can sweep a floor.
mm-hmm.
So, yeah. So, yeah, I think just you need to, if you're wanting to get in there, don't go in with attitude, just be willing to do the work and watch how things get done. And also just watch. Like I find by just seeing, you learn. And you're not always going to get to do the cool stuff or the fun stuff in the beginning. I, for me, it took me a couple of years before I got to do even applications. I was rolling clay for the longest time, cleaning molds, doing the dirty work for a long time.
Mm,
But yeah, I think if you have anyone that you know in the industry or email people asking them to connect you with somebody, even if it's just starting in a department that maybe it's not something you really want, but if that's the only way to get you in, then just it's good to learn what other people do. So,
no,
I
that
don't know if that helps
makes
at all, but
yeah, it does. It makes complete sense. It makes, and there's a lot of entitlement in the world today, and yeah, you're right. People just need to start from the bottom, work hard, and show that they're passionate and good workers. So that's great advice. That really, really is. Um, no, and yeah, it's fantastic to have you on the show. I really, really appreciate you making the time, and I know the listeners are going to love you and love what you do, and yeah, I'll release the podcast next week Thursday. So be on the lookout for that. But yeah, people are gonna absolutely love you, and I really appreciate you making the time. Thank you so much for coming on the show.
thanks for thanks for asking me.
No,
Yeah, it's
it's great.
amazing. It's also nice to see that there's a whole other world out there of people, what they listen to and what they talk about. I was listening to some of your stuff earlier. So interesting. I really enjoy. I love listening to what other people have to say to you. It's nice to hear about things that I obviously am not aware of and interests that I'm not aware of either. So
Yeah, us
it's nice.
weirdo anime fans. No, we we're crazy. We're crazy. Um,
But it's
but
just a very creative world, which
yeah.
I I love, and it's also because you can go way out. Like it's
Mm.
you don't always have to still stay with the realistic world, just which is quite nice about the anime side of things.
Fantasy is fun. It definitely
Yeah.
is. It's sometimes it's a good escapism is what we call it.
Yeah,
But
definitely.
no, thank you. Have a brilliant afternoon, and
Thank
I'll talk to you
you.
later.
Yeah. Have a lovely day.
Will do. Bye bye.
Thank you. Bye.